Okay, guys, we're back. Sorry, I really want to focus on the trades. I didn't want to miss the continued short, and I didn't want to miss entering long. So our targets ended up hitting on both the short side and the long side. 7.5 is still the overhead. I did mention earlier this morning that we had some major support around 66.22 to 66.28, which we ended up triggering. Oh, I tried a long off the 2.6 area. Okay, just because like these were really calculated, even off today's real-time open, off the 60 spot, these were the 30, 33, 34 point ranges. They did break them a tiny, tiny bit, so that's why it was so important that they automatically retrace this. Do you see this? I also had a flip. It was a really nice long. Are you in the chat, my caps lock? I never know if you are or not. I always forget your name in there. But the short was nice too, though. Like, the short was actually really clean. I took the short hedge off the stall at 6.4. But I confirmed here, once they never retracted 5.6, 5.8 back here. Do you see this? Right in here? Like this? I was like, yeah, there's no way that they're gonna not retest at least 4.4. Once 4.4 tested, I knew immediately this was going to 2.2 to 2.6. So really, really, really nice short. I didn't capture it from the top, but I feel like we could have, honestly. We probably could have captured it off 7.4, 7.8, especially when they started stalling and when they took down range back here, but mostly off the 12.40, 41. Like this period here, this told us everything we needed to know. This is where I took the short, was off the failures of 6.4, but I guess we could have probably entered in here. I just didn't want to enter before this period and have it be super volatile. Do you get what I'm saying? Because they could have easily done what they did at 12.40. If they had retraced a little bit higher, they could have done that on the upside. Like they could have easily done this like this. Do you get what I'm saying? And then that would have caused me to stop out. But nonetheless, it was still a really good short trade. And a really nice long. So far, we've hit long entry on both ends of the trade, which has been super solid. And short entries on both sides of the trade, which has been really, really great for longs and shorts. Short we did right off the open this morning. Long, we took the long back in here off the 3-1 hold. I did cover some earlier off the 6.6, 6.8 test. And a tiny bit more on the long off the 7.4 test, but even if you missed this short, guys, this long was really nice if you guys took it. Yeah, when you said that you're staying out of longs, I don't think it was to stay out of longs. Stay out of longs off 4.4, yeah. But longs off 2.228, why would you stay out of a long off 2.228? Do you get what I'm saying? Off 2.228 doesn't make sense to stay out of a long. Between 4.4, 4.8, yeah, I would stay away. That area had way too much risk. I just mostly meant stay away between the ranges of like 4.4 to 6.4. Those are just not good spots to trade. Does that make sense? Like if they were to keep it stuck right here this afternoon and not break down range, like right here, they could have done something like this. This would have been like the worst kind of PA. So it's actually a good thing that they brought it down. Bringing it down actually increased odds of them bringing it back up, if anything. So we'd have to look for this 5.2, 5.3 retest here. Mark the 230 windows, guys. These are usually common windows for ES. I nailed that low, guys, at 204. That was the flip that I had marked on there, 204, 208. This was really, really clean in terms of PA along with that 212 break. So let's watch the 238, 236, 232 period. Could have some odds around the 24, 21. I know, I grabbed both longs at lows today. It was the short that I didn't capture off the high, which is kind of annoying because we easily could have done that. But again, I was also streaming. I feel like when I'm streaming, sometimes it's hard because the 1240 and 1241 were our calculated times too. You know what I mean? Like this was the perfect failure, especially like thumb stalling 6-6. Like right here, do you see what I'm saying? Like this 6-6 stall right here, this told us everything we need to know in terms of the short trade. Like I'm not too upset about not capturing it off here, but still a really, really good short. See if they can get back to the means by like 224 so that they can increase odds here. I'm just glad though that we knew that we still had room to the downside. Who was it that was asking earlier? Do you see how there was still that room that we were talking about earlier? Like there was room between like 22, 26, 28, 29. These are also the 128 to 132 point ranges, guys, off weekly highs, by the way, that we talked about. Remember I said this morning, that we have odds of testing 128 points beneath highs. So I think for max risk on the week, like I would be shocked if they went lower than that, because then that means that they would be taking it like not just off a high-low ratio. These were the targets. I mentioned these this morning. Okay. And the only way possible I could see them going any lower than that is if they did this off like these opening ranges here, right? Like maybe to like, I don't know, 2-1, but otherwise that would put us at mass risk of like going back to last week's lows, like close to 65.88, 65.84. So that would be pretty hard if they didn't hold the line there in this area, okay? So let's see if they can try retracting some of this. Doesn't look like they're trying to break this back by 2-4. Still stalling 4849. That's the top of the channel. There's some better odds around 2830. I'm going to start deleting some of this. I had some good odds on Intel coming back above 3321 at 212. Some odds to retest here, but stalled. The window still is open here on this one. So what do you guys think? You guys think that we can retest high of day? Since we met full range on downside, what do you guys think? They left a little bit of room on upside, and they left that little bit of room on downside that we talked about earlier. I think that there's enough time that it could be a probability, but they really have to push during this 224 to 230 period, at least back to like 6.4. I would say like 5.8 minimum, ideally 6.4. If they can get back to here before 3 o'clock, then there's definitely some odds. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't, because they already met 7475 and they've met max downside range. Usually you have to go lower to go higher. It's a really weird concept, but sometimes you have to go a little bit lower to go a little bit higher. Like them hitting 3-1 earlier was good, but not great. If they would have hit 2-9 earlier, we would have taken out 7.5. Does that make sense? Like this hitting a little bit more room on that downside this morning would have assured us that we would have hit this range up here. Okay? Does that make sense? Them even hitting like even 2.8 earlier. Okay? If they would have hit like 2.8, 2.7, we probably would have hit 7.8. Another way you can think about this, guys, is like that's 7 points in the differential range, correct? Do you see how that could have gotten us our 8.2? Yes, especially if it's more calculated. 128 to 132 points is way more calculated. 34 points off open today, more calculated. Do you get what I'm saying? It was a more calculated area to hold. Like holding 3-1 was good, but it could definitely increase risk. Like there's still some risk here. I'm not saying that there isn't, but you kind of get the idea that we're working with. And so there is still some risk there though, because they took it a little bit lower, right? But still, It was a little bit lower, but not lower within like the weekly ratios. So on a weekly basis, it's still fine. On a day-to-day basis, there was definitely some risk there. Okay, from yesterday's lows, it was kind of like a 50 odd. From these prior closing points, like, do you see that? Like that's a little bit more than we maybe would have wanted, but it also could offset the upside. And what I mean by that is it could basically offset, like if we did like a 68 point ratio, which is the 34. Okay, let's say off 2.9. It's not that much range. Like how much range is that? What's the differential in range there? And do you see how they immediately negated it? Like this is called an immediate negation. Do you see that? Where they immediately took it back up? That has to happen in order for risk to get reduced. But this 4.75 range, okay. Do you see what I'm saying? These are likely the points, especially if 7475 was the calculated area, or 7450. Do you see how that could basically come back to retest like yesterday's lows, essentially? Like yesterday's real-time lows, like this area here. Do you see how that's aligned with that? Again, a lot of it's going to be based on them just taking it back to this area here, but so far they're stalling. They did take it back over 50 and 5.1 during that 24-25 period, but we really have to look to see what they do during this 230 to 238 period. I feel like if they can't even get it back over 5.7, 5.8 during this time, then no. If they can, then we keep those odds in play to get back to 6664, the 4.3. That would be the only probability. Intel did a decent move here, but still stalling. There's some volume that came in off that 2.5 stick. We'll see what they do. A lot of these had some structural flips too that didn't even flip over till after 2 o'clock. So that was part of the issue. And it's just after 2 since it was like 2:04. I think on ES, I'm sure you could find something that's pretty similar to that. Good job today, guys, though. Didn't we talk about that one yesterday? It stalled that 143. But it's still holding off that 125.84. This thing probably needs back over at least 132. Or like this 131.92 area, this area here. NQ, I noticed that this one held off the bottom of the zone. Who's in NQ? XOM held up really nicely though during that reversal. Guys, open came back to 907 here with volume this time. Just as an FYI. Okay, let's see what ES does here. These are pretty important periods to try retracing back this range, especially holding the channel there at 2.8. So let's see, 230 has some odds. We need back over like the 5.275 area, like this range in here, 5.3, to then try giving some odds of getting back to 5.8. I hope this is helping you guys, by the way. That was a tough call to make, but it looked like they were going to hold. I didn't like that they breached it, but notice too, I didn't buy the low of day, by the way. I didn't buy this stick here. I kind of waited, even though I had a flip at 204. I waited to see what they did by like that secondary stick because it had to immediately retrace. If it didn't immediately retrace, then I knew that this was going to go lower. But the risk was too high if it did. Does that make sense? Because it's not like this could have, I know you guys were saying like, yes, it could have went to 66.08, 66.12, but this could have actually went to 66.84, 66.88, or 65.84, 88. Does that make sense? Like the risk was a little too wide. So I didn't think that they had high odds of not holding there. It was just too much risk with them letting go of the spot here. So especially on a Thursday afternoon, like late afternoon after a Fed session. Plus Fed got off the mic around this time too. And we had odds to flip just after too at 204, 207, 208. I did send you guys the flips in the Discord too. Even if you didn't cover your longs earlier, you probably could get out flat here if you didn't cover from the earlier entries. But we had such good entries that there's no way that you guys didn't cover something at 6668 or 7475. That would be insane. So far stalling the 52, 53 area here. They tested it a little bit, but kind of looking to see what they do by that 232 to 238 period. Intel stalling here a little bit too. Intel could be a late mover. This one had some flags after 3 o'clock, so it was still stuck on an inside range. Like, I don't know if you guys see this. Do you see that? These are some better looking structures on this. Kind of see the slight odds. They're around this window here, so. ES so far stalling during this period, guys. Apple getting a really nice push, guys, into the close. Apple above high a day now on Apple. Set this to the 5.5 area instead. What do you guys think? You think ES retracts back at least to 6.4, 6.6? Did we have anything at 3 o'clock? Why do you say no, Noble Mom? What condition hasn't been met for you to say no? Curious what you guys think. Oh yeah, we do have that Fed speaker at 3:30. There is a Fed speaker at 3:30. Again. What's the condition that wasn't met, guys? Well, those are not... So they did at least get back over 4.4. Okay, 4.6 around that 216 period. We had odds of getting back over this 50 range at 224, 225. Period starts around like that 230, 32 through 36. 36, 38 having some better odds here of retesting 5.2, 5.3. Ideally get back over 5.5, 5.6 to get a structure break over 5.8. We still have quite a bit of time. What time do we want to be back over like the 5.8 to 6.4 area by? No, there's no hoping. You cut it if it doesn't. It's as simple as that. Like back in here, this didn't retract, it didn't retrace, you can start cutting or take a short hedge or whatever. I would say like if this can at least get back in this area here by 3, then there's probably some odds. So far, it's not really holding the line as much as we'd probably want it to, but it did get over the 5-2 area, so it's still giving that probability because it's still back over 5-2, 5-3. Going down where, though? Where do you think it's going down to? If you think it's going down, that means that you think it's going all the way back here. Because that's the current risk that we face. And for that kind of risk, we would need news. We need some sort of catalyst for this to go down another 40 points. Which from here would be way more than 40 points. That would be like a 66-point break from here. Where is SPX trading right now, Brendan? Okay, so that's another good way of looking at it. So then our means area is intact with 6,600 on SPX. That's interesting because that's the spot we'd have to break back to, like around 5.7, 5.5 to 5.8 area. 237 getting a good structure break here, right in time for 238. 238, I was looking to see if they can get that 66.53 retest here. We're trying to see if they can at least bring this back to the 5.8 area at the very least before 3. If they could bring this back here by 244, 245, 248, that would be even better because it would increase our odds of getting back to the 6.4 range by 3 o'clock. That would reduce some of our risk. Obviously 6.6, 6.8 reduces risk even more, but even if they just want to neutralize this, I think getting back to this area here is probably good enough. Here's the 3.8 flip and some structure breaks right at 238. Yes, they can, Booth. They can come back for highs, but this is the period that they have to break back by. So 238 breaking to 6. What did we just say? 6653. You need 6656 to 6658 by, I would say, probably no later than like 248, 250 max. 6664 reduces risk. 6666 to 6668 gives best odds, okay? The area that we stalled the last time, which is why this didn't clear to break, was the 7.1. 7.5 to 7.2 area is what needs volume. I would say if they can get to that range before imbalance prints, then we're not that far off from getting a retest of high of day. So far, I'm right. So far, this is looking pretty solid in structure. 66, 53, 75 broken and retraced there at 2:38 p.m. We can look around 2:43, 44, but I think they could break this a little bit sooner than that. Thank you so much for that gift. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Open getting that break here too with volume, guys, if anyone took that. The alert went off. This is potentially heading to 979. There could be some midpoints around 40, 45. Intel, I think, finally getting that structure break. Look at that single stick break, guys. This is good timing, too, ahead of 248, because this means that we can actually hit 6.4 by 4.8. If we can hit 6.4 by 4.8, I would say that those odds are really high that they could take this back to high of day and actually get us back to that 7.881 area that we discussed this morning. It would be like the range differential that we just talked about on the downside. If you want to cover some here, you could. I think that this looks pretty solid in structure. Obviously, it's up to you. I can't tell you guys what to do. But this was a really, really, really nice long if you took it. And if you saw the disappointment in my tone when you guys were saying no, but didn't have a proper reasoning, because we met our conditions. There wasn't a single condition that wasn't met yet. If we hadn't broken this area by 238, then I would have started getting a bit worried. Does that make sense? I need to make sure you guys are on the same page. Nice. Intel getting that 3361 test here on Intel. I wanted to try covering these today at like 280. I don't know if I'm going to get that cover, but we'll see. This is a really crazy break, especially with volume there. And look, right at that 240 mark. I had 240 as my flip on Intel and 238 on ES, but it's funny that 240 broke on ES because that was the time of day that I had for Intel here on that flip. So that's pretty interesting. How many of you guys were prepared for this two directional price action? Also, this is the nicest inverse head and shoulders pattern I've seen in a while here on ES, by the way. If you're someone that likes structure, this is a really nice inverse head and shoulders. You got the 6690s off lows? No breaks of highs yet though on Intel. Is stalled highs, so see if they can take this out by 3. I kind of stopped tracking those time frames, but it's okay. Did my tone help you guys stay long on that? So this area here between, I would say 5.8, 5.9 to 6.6, 6.4, it reduces risk, okay? But it doesn't completely increase odds of breaking highs. What do you need to break highs before 3? And it's kind of funny that you guys thought I was crazy when I said that half an hour ago that we could break high of day. No, 6.5 is too low. Nope, that's too low. You guys, come on. I just said 6.4 and 5.8 can reduce risk, okay? This area here reduces risk. It doesn't necessarily imply retesting highs, though. What do you need to retest highs at this rate? What was our calculated period, guys, earlier? Well, 7.4 is highs, you guys. What do you need to retest highs? What did we fail at our calculated time at 1240, 1241? That was the most calculated time of day that had the best odds. If we didn't meet price at that point in time, we had very high odds that they would break down. You need at least 6.6. I would say if they can bust 6.6 to 6.8, that's enough to get us back to high of day. You don't necessarily need to break that. But what's the second condition you have to meet? Second condition on a 6.6, 6.8 break. Don't get this one wrong. What's your second condition if and when you do break 66, 66, 66, 68? And this was a calculated time of day for us at 1240, 1241. Around mid-session. What do you have to do when and if you do come back, let's say, and break the 66, 66 area? Single sticks through what? What did we fail to do earlier? I'm giving you guys the answer, but yeah, not stall. Not stall where? Where can you not afford to stall? So this is still keeping us at some risk. We've got to hold the line now above like this 5.5, 5.6 area. Upper means basically. 7.1. 7.1 to 7.175. We can't fail that area. If they come back to 6.668, it has to break. They're starting to reduce range here a little bit off of the 6.62, 6.3 mark. I would imagine that that's probably linked with that 7.1 area. Yeah, it is. Did you guys take some off on the 5.9 test? Just in case they stall here? This should have been your first cover. You could obviously wait till 3 if you want. But you could have taken at least something off. We have odds of turnaround at 247.48, which is why I was not too worried there. So let's see if they can get this back over this 5.8 wall. Intel has some odds coming up here too. I know, and like some people don't like volatility. I'm like, but why? Because then you can get so many trades in one day. It's just that you have to be prepared to cover and like to switch directions quickly. Have we fully reduced risk yet? No. I think Intel might actually do it here. Intel high of day retest, guys, off that 248 flip. 33.69 I think is the mark on highs. My target for this one today, if they broke these areas, was to get to 34.60, 34.65. I'm not sure if they have enough room or time left today to do it, but they definitely could if they push around this point in time. Minimum range I was thinking was around 34. If they actually give us some nice structure breaks here on INTC. Intel also gave some good buyback entries earlier. Really nice break of highs here. Right on time too. Intel has some odds to push here, guys. Watch for news maybe if they end up putting anything out, especially around these areas. These are some big spots. ES had odds to turn back around at 247.48. Are you guys good if I start deleting some of our flips on here just because I'm trying to make sure that my charts stay clean by end of close? So 4748 were the reversal sticks. We want to see basically if we can try tagging 6.3, 6.4 by 3. We don't necessarily need 6.6 by 3, but we definitely need at least 6.4, okay? 6.6, 6.8 though is going to give us what? If we get closer to here by this time, what is that going to give us? That's a really nice stick break on Intel. Look at that volume, guys, coming in here on Intel. Almost to that 34 range. That's insane. I had some marks on here on Intel today to trigger 266 or 267 to 288 on my contracts. If we hit my actual target, they would hit 306. I think they could actually do it. 34.75 or 33.80. This area here, let me see. 33.80 would be 239. Are they trading at 239? They're trading at 255 here. Near 34. Near 34, near 34. 34, I had 253. So yeah, that's accurate. Wow, my math was 100% right, you guys. You guys want to see this? Hey? Look at this. That's exactly where they're trading right here. So I was thinking if this triggers 34.50, this could get 288 to 306. This is my target on this. Anything above this is going to be a bonus. If they actually end up triggering like the 37 mark, that would be insane. If they actually trigger 37, those could go to like $4 or $5. Intel getting that 34 break. We actually are hitting our 34 target, guys, today. That's insane. This is so close. And I was so patient, you guys. It took me everything to not sell right here. You guys have no idea. When I shut this stream, it wasn't because of ES. I had to make sure I don't cover this because I'm like, if they end up taking this to 34, 34.50 and I cover too early, I'm going to kill myself. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I'm going to be so mad, okay? So I had to make sure. I focused and I didn't sell. Because if I sold, I would have been so mad. Because nothing actually broke yet. Had they broken maybe beneath like 32.42, then I would say that the trade would have been over. But this was still really high odds that they would keep this in play. If they take this guys to 37.38, our contracts are going to be up like 1,500%, by the way. Just an FYI, if you guys actually took those at 30 and 40 cents with me yesterday when I shared them. Like, this thing's insane. What do you guys think? You think Intel hits my targets today? These are my targets for today. 34.60, 65, 66. Do we do it? Let's see. ES still stalling here a little bit ahead of 3. Some odds open up again around 254. Let's start setting some alerts here. 34, 34, 60, 34, 66. But the thing is like, do I want to sell if we hit this here? Because that means it can go to 37 and 38 and potentially 41. I don't know if it could do it all tomorrow, but that's a clear trade if it does. And my contracts all expire tomorrow. I didn't buy anything that expires next week. Damn it. Maybe I leave like a few contracts, right? I don't have to sell all of it. I could sell like 80% of my position. But contracts going from 30 cents to $7, I think would make me sick if I sold 80% of it. Okay, guys, this is game time. You want to jump in now on Intel seeing that? Like, Dunks, you're the definition of FOMO. Like, if FOMO was in the dictionary and someone had to look it up, it would be DJ Dunks. FOMO. Why do you always wait until after it moves every single time? Why don't you just take small risks? You don't have to risk like a lot. You could just risk a little bit. What do you guys think? Is ES going to get that 6-4 break here by 3? 66.64. 66.64 is enough to get us like maybe a retest of highs. 66.68 is going to give us the best odds. Reclaim by 3 p.m. We have a Fed speaker too, I think, at 3:30. So obviously that could bring volatility. I probably want to be covered before 3:30 though, personally. Which is another reason why they could push this by 3. Or like before 3:30. to avoid that volatility period, I guess. Can you guys vote on that? I put a poll up quickly because it's almost up. I didn't realize that I didn't put that up soon enough. Disciplined? That's not being disciplined. That's being something else, but I can't say that word on here. Disciplined is having a stop loss covering when you're supposed to. Not taking a trade, on the other hand, is something else. Yeah. Well, I just don't want you taking a trade though at like a bad like risk to reward spot. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Intel could get like a nice move to 37, 38, but like these are also enough to be considered max ranges, like 34. Do you know what I'm saying? These were not bad re-entry areas this afternoon. Like, these are just big spots, especially if ES stalls here, then it's not going to help individual names. Open getting a nice retest here, too. Apple went right back to 256, you guys. Apple's nearly back to that 257 range. Remember how I said I had that one Apple call that might come back from the dead? It actually is. It's actually coming back. It's actually coming back from the dead. I don't even know how I forgot to sell that one. NQ stalling 24,643. So that would definitely be the area that needs to break. So far, it's not looking like they're going to break this ahead of 3. But we'll see. If they break it right at 3, that's not the worst case scenario, but it definitely could imply some volatility, okay? Yeah, just maybe make like smaller sizing or something. Like you don't have to buy a lot of things, right? You can just you're just not going to learn unless you trade. Like that's just in my opinion, I feel like that's the best way to learn is by actually taking trades. Oh, is that Zoom? Are they on the is Bernie on the chat? Let me listen to what those guys are saying.
Little bit there. I'm gonna take that.
Whoa!
Yep. Hey, that is Bernie.
Whoa!
What is he owing about?
52s? Something anyway here.
Yeah, dead.
Size on this. Yeah. Here she goes. CYCU. Right here, 53. They bridge too far right now. Too far right now. Back. Did make 34 in INTC. To 98 though. All in the game. PLX, but there's no volume on PLX. Oh, so what? They approached Taiwan Semi too. It's working again. It's working. Here comes 34. There she goes.
Oh wow, there we go. Look at that stick break, guys. Oh, he's talking about Intel, I think.
Anyone, and it works.
I think he's talking about Intel.
Isn't that nice? That's out of the journal too. They went to Taiwan Semi. Who else did they go to? Put some more headlines out, make some money. Actually worked. That worked.
Yeah, it did.
That went a long way. I was like, click, clicking. Look at this. It's probably going to go more. I took this, but hit 07. It's still there. I think wants higher. Taiwan Semi, after all. I mean, what does that sound like after saying this? Oh, they went to Apple. Okay. What was it yesterday? Was it Apple? Yeah, it was Apple. Right?
Okay, I'm gonna tune into him then.
Yeah, and that was
I think they
somebody
just
else, too.
approved an investment from TSMC.
Amazon.
I knew that they could get news into the
Yeah.
close on this. Wow, we're actually hitting
Look
our
at
ranges.
CYCU.
Nice.
This makes ES so
Already
boring.
took it, but nice.
ES stalling, guys. 5859.
CYCU still ramping here. Ramp away. Don't stop. Keep going. It's money. Keep stopping. All right. Hit the 53.87. DFLI high of the day and DFLI 13 million.
Now I feel like I should have bought even more. Isn't that always the case?
Down at CYCU.
34 cents.
With another Intel headline. Go to anybody. A Google. Go to Google.
And the second entry was
Yep.
4.5.
Microsoft. Go to Microsoft. New highs. It's going higher. Love it, right? Look at this.
You guys, if this thing hits, I am gonna have probably one of my biggest trades this
Intel's
year.
not stopping. They're not shy. They'll go to anybody. Tin cup. Hat in hand.
No,
Bill's not
they're
shy.
at they're
They
at
need
like
money.
almost $3. They're like 2
$5 billion
something
from,
70,
Nvidia.
which is still
they
a
got,
really
what,
good trade.
Billion from actually from the U.S. government.
If it hits this though, they'll
Billion,
10x.
I forget. I can't keep track.
If it hits
Those
here
billions.
though, this would be insane. But like,
Nothing.
I'm gonna have to make that decision
No,
when that
they're
time
still
comes
looking
here if
around.
I want to
They're
hold
still
half.
sniffing around for more money.
Yes, stalled here, but it's still holding 5657, so this is fine. There could just be some extensions here that we could look for.
Still sniffing around for more money.
Yeah, Ivy's probably up now, guys. My expiration's tomorrow. But I told you guys to buy this yesterday and the day
Like
before,
shorting it, but I'm afraid
before
to.
this even moved. That they could have news, and that was before news was even announced.
It's dropping though.
And that was on stream.
What, Intel?
Dropped a little bit.
Yeah, so be careful of that.
I just don't think that they would take it to this range here and then stall, though.
Ah,
We'll have to see. You
There
could
you
definitely
go.
take some off at 34.
down the toilet. Not getting any money from them either. Not getting it from Apple, and you're not getting it from Taiwan Semi. I'm surprised Nvidia did it. When I first saw that, I thought the government made them, and they denied it. They said no, the government wasn't involved. But
Yeah,
you
look
did
at
that on your own, huh? You got involved
Who's
with
there?
Intel on your own. Let's. No, he's breaking up. He still hasn't fixed his mic.
I think he said that Netflix will be the home of opening day.
Home of opening. I don't want to watch Netflix on opening day. God knows what they paid for that.
Oh, you'll love it. Yankees Giants in prime time. Turn on Netflix.
Prove them wrong, Intel. Prove them wrong. Everyone doubts this stock. Everyone thinks it's gonna dump. Prove them wrong.
Look at beyond me. Back into the dungeon. Huh.
Give them that structure break. There's some odds opening up, guys, around 308. You could still use
A short Intel
some of the
again.
frames that we used earlier this morning.
Got down to 91 the first time. Look at this on LTBR. I bet you they've got something coming on LTBR. Here's Keith. Keith's talking about this one the other day. This got up to what,
Busy
21?
trading.
Oh, sorry, that's all right.
LTBR.
Yeah,
I'll take a look.
I'm back up. It's been ramping since a little bit after 2 o'clock. A couple of points in LTBR, and still making highs here. Kind of curious is all. The SPY is hanging above the VWAP at least, not breaking back down below it.
CYCU, not giving up here.
What did we do? 3.8% on the GDP. It must have been it had to be a lower trade deficit, right? That would do something like that.
PC's number is 8:30 tomorrow. Is that what you said?
What's that?
PCE is tomorrow at 8:30.
Yeah, PCE is at 8:30. Yeah, that's a biggie. By the way, Drio, 1385. I could kick myself. Look at this. I don't want to pay 25 cents for it, you know. On this thing, look at this. Where it is now, DRIO. Multiple bidders for the company. It pulled all the way down today. It traded 18 when the news hit in the morning, and then it traded all the way down, and now look where it is. You have to take them at their face forward, right? OPFI moving here on lighter volume. OPFI. Shannon, I don't want to know from Shannon. Go away.
Oh, I saw that. Oh wait, on Intel got that nice stick break over 3420.
Got down to 60 again. Back up to 64. But it got to 64.51. High of the day was 67, I believe.
Yeah, that could be another thing too, is maybe start rolling out. I don't know if I'm gonna keep like everything that I have for tomorrow. That would just be too much risk. You know what I mean? But like them maybe rolling out would not be a bad idea.
I see you trying to come back.
Yes,
up.
stalled this very crucial spot here. It's still holding 5658.
Up to 51.
But definitely not some good areas to stall in here, especially ahead of 330. Yeah, and then it did, but still more news here. See, there's an audit at 312 here on Intel.
Open's trying to climb again a little bit. There's 51s on
Yes, trying to make a turnaround
CYCU.
here. There's that 312 odd, so we'll see if this is enough to give this some potential range back.
Back up a little bit.
Idea is to, if this couldn't break before 3, at least to 66, 64.
390 on QURE.
They might have limited range a little bit, but they could still keep odds in
Hanging
play
in.
here.
I've been
Especially during imbalance
sideways here
prints.
above the VWAP. Importantly, after the swoon, it swooned.
See what kind of
Don't
range
like
we
it to
can get
swoon.
here
Want it
on
to stay nice
Intel.
and stable. Oh, we're selling missiles to Germany. PFI, I didn't do any of that, but it's making highs on OPFI. I don't really know what that's about. EBS high of the day.
I'm setting some alerts, guys, on Apple because these are some really big spots for Apple here, and it's getting so close to getting back to our 257, 15, 20 ranges, which were those calculated spots, right? I'm just gonna set those on there so I have them. Seems like odds are getting very close to being triggered for end of day. I'm not sure if we get continued ramps here on Intel because it is getting pretty heavy up here, but it's super close to those ranges. I'm not sure if they move this more after the bell though. I think ES needs to have some sort of movement here for this to keep going though. NQ kind of stalling in this neutral range here too.
OPFI still running there. So is EBS a little bit too. EBS is getting a pop here. Don't know what that's about. On EBS just popped from 860s to 883, 881, 884. Not the most liquid thing. 916,000 shares. I'm not in it. It's been nice to be in it. SPRC late.
A lot of shorts in EBS.
Yeah. Oh, they've been making a comeback. Papa's running it now. Doing a good job.
Oh, my two
From BHC to EBS. Another disaster. OPFI 1210
to Sandman to Bernie.
on 685.
My
It's light
257.50 calls, guys, on Apple might actually come back alive.
also. Highs of the day on
They're very close.
BlackBerry. They had their EPS this morning. There's OPFI 1213. A bit more, and there's BB again. Some hitting that high. I like the EBS.
Apple's breaking.
I like Papa.
Come on,
This is a
Intel,
good
give us
job.
that break. ES just has to start moving here before this Fed speaker.
Usually walks into situations where it would be very difficult to
Otherwise,
do a
that
worse
risk
job.
can come back
There's
on.
BB at 65, just kind of grinding higher. And BlackBerry. I don't know what they waited till now for. But all day to buy it. There's OPFI at 12.15. Same stocks keep hitting my screen here. 16, 19 OPFI. 20. There it goes. I'm talking for nothing here. Look at that ramp from 1170.
Seller at 35 would
BB.
make sense.
Paying the offer on
Apple guys just broke that range here
OPFI, paying the 26.
with some volume. That's a pretty big spot here for Apple to break. This looks like it's going to come back to highs. Did any of you guys try Apple earlier? I did mention that this one was better relative strength than the
Oh, there goes
index
DFLI.
on Apple.
Yeah.
And it had pretty decent odds that they would bring it back to
I think that's
retest that
high day.
257 area. ES kind of stalling a little bit still. Intel stalling a tiny bit off that
They
3426.
did this yesterday too with this thing.
I have no idea whose voice that is. I've never heard that guy speak before.
I just got back. It's the first thing I bought. Popped right away.
Peloton back on. I didn't see this last move. It's got a nice daily still. I'll be watching tomorrow again.
Indo's looking good.
Apple could be a runner, guys, into the close here. 258.20 was the mark I had above the 257.29
Peloton's got
area.
a fair amount of shorts.
I didn't eat anything yet today.
Dragonfly 37s. I only heard that because I was listening in the car, Burn. I think you called Dragonfly at about 34.
Yes. STYCU had another run too.
Yeah.
We are testing the VWAP. It's 320. What happens here? Just above it right now. Just above it. The VWAP is at 657.29. Just got down to 657.33. Just above it. So far we're holding it. We've been bouncing on it again. We had the one break.
I see Titanium made a run. That's PTNM. Ampy's back to 6. SGMO back up. 63.
Except the orders 800 top U.S. military leaders to unexplained Quantico meeting. Where's that from? Trying to find out the provenance. Where's that from, please? What is this? This story is a summary of posts on X. Get out of here. Stop it. But wait, so hold on. Hold on. Hexeth has just ordered an urgent gathering of hundreds of generals and admirals. That's per the Wall Street Journal. And let me tell
Yeah,
you
there's a lot of people reporting that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you know what then?
Reuters, everyone.
I'll tell you what, folks. I'll tell you what. Everyone does what they want to do. But for me, I want less risk of this situation than I have on right now. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do between now and 4 o'clock. But I don't like that kind of stuff because
I think it's next week, though, isn't it? The meeting.
The meeting next week.
I think it's next week. Yeah.
Not an urgent meeting.
No, it's for next week. I saw it like 4 times posted.
Can you guys share the headline?
Yeah, let me find it again. It was earlier.
I can, Dave. Here.
We got Rustin just put it in there. It looks
Okay, very
like.
good.
Thank you.
I don't know
next
why.
Week.
My family has an obsession with calling me the last hour of the day for some reason, especially
I
like
think
the
if it was
last half
afternoon, we'd
hour.
be down a lot more.
Really. And like all I don't it's all this stuff that's going on. So what are the Russians doing? They're like violating everybody's airspace to see what the response will be. What do they think the response is going to be? What do they think is going to happen? I mean, like it's like we're back in 1955 or something. Or this when I was before I was born, but this is the kind of stuff we had when I was a kid. You had stuff like this going on. Used to have to
Anyone try the Apple trade, guys? This was a really, really easy
drills in
trade.
school.
Super clean. Odds were high. 257.20 being retested here. You can cover some here if you want.
No, I don't mean to offend anybody who's Russian. I'm talking about the Russian government. They're thugs. They just are. They are. We're kind of thuggish too, I suppose. I'd say that as well.
Yeah.
My thoughts were if it breaks this 257.20 spot, this could push to maybe like 258.20, 258.19. It's a really big spot on Apple into the
Russians
close.
are invading Alaskan airspace. I mean, come on. What do you think is going to happen? You think there's not going to be a response?
Yes, kind of stalling here a bit now.
And if Ukraine is any indication, they didn't do so hot. They didn't mop it up in a week. Here we are 2
Intel,
years later.
25 cents in range reduced so far.
How much progress have they made in Ukraine? They have the eastern seventh of the country, which is on their border. We just broke the VWAP again.
Yes, breaking down off that 324 flip here.
Let's see if this cascades down or whether they catch it again.
See if they try
Caught it
holding off
last
that
time.
50-52. If this goes back in the channel, then we have definitely
Caught it
some odds of
last time.
retesting like that.
TFI still making highs, 1231. I didn't do
2928 area.
it. Should
ESTV.
have, shouldn't I?
Definitely
Yeah,
has to
that
try holding
headline's
this
on
area.
ABC, NBC, all their websites. That is the main one.
But it's for next week.
Yeah.
PSTV just popped to about 58.
Yeah. I like that coverage today. I actually thought it would do better than it did. Although it did get up to what, 62? But I thought it would do better than that. There's DFLI still
69.
going.
69 pre-market.
I know, my 257.50 calls came back to life. Those things
Next
were like
spot
dead
on
this morning.
DFLI at 4053.
All right, what do you guys think? ES approaching
That's good,
its
August
imbalance
5.
quarter here. 66.64 retest by, let's say, 336. Curious to see what you guys think. I'm going to set this to 2 minutes. Please try voting as quickly as you can so it's not just like 2 people voting. Turnaround time starts at 3:24. So during this period here, to attempt basically, I did want them to try breaking ahead of this Fed speaker. I think she
I
starts
think
at
there's
3:30.
38 up.
But that would just be more to like reduce risk.
There it goes for 38 on DFLI.
Apple, I've been long Apple.
38.50 on DFLI. Hasn't stopped moving up. Dragonfly.
Apple's also
energy.
a
Not to be
nice
confused with Dragonfly drone.
2-day bull flag. Like, this is the nicest flag I've seen on Apple in a while, by the way.
Hell's vibes.
And this doesn't flip till Monday, so Apple
Gonna give an
2-day
AI
flag.
party. Nobody's gonna come.
These are big spots here on it.
Futzing around this this VWAP. It popped over and now it's retesting down again. Here's
Intel's starting
39 on DFLI.
Intel's starting
Yep.
to reduce range a little bit
juice
here.
Got some volume.
I think these are aligned now with this spot.
Got
Yeah,
some
they are.
volume.
Can we get more votes, guys? I did note 336, not 330, just because I
Got a
don't
spot
think
at 96. You
330
take the
is
96,
realistic.
they'll take out the 39. They veered away from the that piece there.
I had odds at 312 for some high day triggers on Intel. That's why I'm a little bit concerned here since they're reducing range this much, but we'll have to see what they end up doing into the close. It could also pull some end of day move on that one too.
BYCU curled on the minute. Dropped into the
Here
47.
is
It's about 50 now.
here is Shirley from here, just under 52 on Cure. Too bad.
'52's been stopping it for hours.
Let's reset these alerts on this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 times it stopped it. Right around 52 on Cure. Back through 50 on CYCU, now 5-1. And then right back down. The intraday looks good on Cure. Nice 5-minute for ABOS.
Where do they even install this? 6250.
DKI running up, it's thin. DKI is
Good Rio 14 on DRIO. Through 14.
I just passed at 13. I know I heard you.
Oh God, I really screwed this one up.
DKI's
It was 11 and a half to 12. 11 and a half, 11 and 3/4.
the LAC getting strong here on Lithium America.
I wonder if ABAT then moves.
720s. There's Cure through 52. Nice pop. Good volume.
330, 6658 retest here, guys. I was moving the arrow down so you guys can see the odds for 330.
Yes.
We figured maybe if they break by 330
Yep.
off
there's
that
a high
5.8, they have
suspension
some
field
odds
for
of
now.
retesting the 6364 by 3.6.
DRIO 1440.
INEO coming on. INEO has ran from 103 to 117 in the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Let me reset some alerts on this. Intel is looking to see if it tried retracting here. So far it's holding the line. Apple trying again here too.
I bounced here.
So just real quick, guys, yes or no, only 8 people voted. Just type Y or N for 6-4 retest here by 336. They did get that
PRH.
5-8 break at
Theo's
3:30.
on Fox Business. PRH getting a pop here. Little pop. It's a $111 stock, so.
For Apple, it would be that
Little pop so far.
5720.
Maybe
That's the
become a bigger
overhead.
pop. ESPV.
Intel breaking down a little bit.
Trying. 58.79.
30 minutes left,
Hoping
guys.
would run for that high. 332. We bounced on VWAP yet again. I don't think that's particularly any kind of big level there, but that's what they're doing. Maybe people that are leery of the PCE number tomorrow, that's something that could change an outlook. I'd give more credence to the Fed not doing more than the one cut. So I don't know how the market would respond to that.
This is the 3-2 stick rate. Move this to 3-3.
You have that number tomorrow.
I do think Intel has to hold its past highs here to even reattempt. So far, that 312 high a day stick is playing out to be true. Which I don't want it to be the case, because I did want them to try testing 3460 in real time, but we'll see. Still has some time.
Search high of the day. There goes STV towards 59.
Coming back on here, the STV.
It's
Well,
trying.
I want some water, but I just don't want to get up at like a
Block at
bad time.
59.
Yeah. That's
Apple's
that piece
stalling
at
here.
54, 94, I think, is probably key there. Taking that down.
Yeah, still stalling here.
There it goes. There she goes. That was a key, that 50, that 94 piece.
Well, they might just be assholes about it, Brendan, and like wait till like 350, and then move it, because it's still holding 5.2, and it still broke 5.8, but it stalled 6.4. Like this is just stuck in the means. This is the means, 5.2 to 6.4, and if you notice, it's holding the exact same range above, and
Watching
failing
see
to
if
break
they
the
take
exact same range below.
203 on
Do you see that? Like a
XXII.
point and a half. Point and a half beneath 5.64. Point and a half above 50. 50, sorry.
Get over 60, maybe make a run at 62.21. It's possible. Let's
And
try it.
she's making it so that it's
My
so
R
conflicted.
my
here.
R high of the day, 21.25.
This doesn't look like this will break
Strong
at
today.
3.6 though. This definitely looks like they're going to try delaying this. I noticed too that Apple stalled, so this was another indicator too off that 5720. And some reductions on those sticks. We'll have to see though if they at least try retracting the 360.
EPOW nearing the high today. EPOW. It had hit 1 this morning. It's 99.
Talking about a magical GPU that Intel may have next year. It will operate on much less power.
there's an uptick on XXII.
Whether that's true or not. I think they make things up. CTMX.
STFS moving up.
People, huh? People's been strong.
EVAX, you might watch that these last 20 minutes on EVAX.
Spy's trying to
450.
break the VWAP again. Like we were gonna out of the woods there, and now they're trying to break it
336
again.
guys back testing that 5357 spot.
IoT high of the day. 3828 came all the way back.
I'm
An
just
IoT.
marking the risk that we have into the close here.
3.5% on the day.
Intel trying to make a turnaround here.
Depop trying, it's back over VWAP.
High on CTMX is 81. It just made it. High is down 4 points.
How much range did they retrace off lows? Did any of you guys measure?
EPG.
This was the 34
It's
point
daily.
break here.
Tariff impact smaller than forecast. Really? Oh, okay.
So this is probably
Larger
the
effect on
22
labor
point
market
range here.
rates remain modestly restrictive. Yeah,
This needs
been saying
back
the same
above
thing for months. Now it's didn't show
5.8.
up. What a surprise. Rio 1444 high of the day.
44 point range is that 6.8. Intel coming back to that 34
MIR
mark here.
keeps rising. An MIR. Mirian. Big drop yesterday on Mirian. Another big drop today, but it's on high of the day. It's still down 3%. It's high of the day.
This is the PA I was talking about earlier, guys, that could have happened. Like back in here, if they didn't break down, they could have had this kind of PA that they're having right now. They could have had it happen earlier back here had they sustained. It was them breaking the channel that caused that volatility. So obviously same thing could happen if they do it again. 3-4 stalling right here. End of session here today.
NAUT is too light though. Any too light. NAUT. We have 20 minutes to go.
I think those odds are pretty low, Slipperman. We didn't break during that
59.50
crucial period here,
spot
so
here
probably
on
not.
PSTV.
Like that condition wasn't met. If that was going to be the case, they'd have to have some crazy ramp the last like 10
EU
minutes.
tariffs on China seem to have caught in the bug.
I'm gonna get water, guys, before the last 15.
Almost 53 on QURE. RIO.
QURE looks good for. I'd say that's good action for tomorrow. I don't want to jinx it, but that looks like a gap tomorrow to me.
Cure.
Yeah.
I was going to get one today. I took care of that before the market opened. It did. I should say that it did open up.
You got a
And
small one.
it went red. Actually went red today. For Drio's strong into the bell. Almost $15 on DRIO. SMX late on SMX. Little spike there on SMX late. What's the volume there today? Only 852,000 volume today. But it's high of the day now on DSMX. Another 2 or 3 press releases today. They didn't do too much though. Oh, there goes Dario. Dario Health, 15s. Ramparoni. Seems like a bid's coming tonight. Almost $16 now on the offer. 1583. On Dario, my regret today. This is my regret. What I was afraid of at 11. I was afraid of a 25-cent spread. I was afraid of.
BYCU trying to break 5-minute coil.
Sorry, guys, I'm back. Okay, so back to high of day. I said I don't think so, considering they didn't break during this period here ahead of 3 and before 3:30. They could still definitely test 6.4, 6.6, 6.8. I do think that they have to get back over this 5.8 area though here by like the 348, 49, especially ahead of 350. A lot of this is going to be relative to where they're trading by 350. Because if they're trading closer to down here, then we're going to be back at risk of 4.4, 4.2. Okay. If they're trading closer to here, then we have those odds of retesting 6.4. So a lot of this is going to just depend on what they do in like the next 3 to 4 minutes. Oh, my teeth are hurting. Intel broke back over 34. I heard the alert go off, but still stuck here.
TCH gapped up and hung in there all day. Titanium went further.
This is kind of the neutralized range.
PTNM now up 37% to 1180. PSTV selling. VPOP hanging out over VWAP 202. NUAI's been running up here. About 10 cents in the last 10 minutes on NUAI, up 47% to 136. Big sell bar in DVLT. They popped it first, hit 105, now down to 80s.
Did we reduce risk a little bit for the last 15? Yeah, because we at least got back over 5859.
TYCU pulled back.
We needed at least over 6466 though to completely reduce that risk and increase
DVLT
odds
is
of
getting
retest.
killed.
Yeah.
Neutralized
Yeah,
risk still
RIO.
implies that you could break a bit
Oh.
lower,
DVLT.
but also gives odds of
150
breaking a bit
million
higher.
strategic Bitcoin investment in Data Vault.
What do we have for
Silex
time?
Holdings. That's why it's dropping. Why it should go down on that. They don't like the news, that's for sure.
Where's SPY trading? 657. SPX just beneath 6600 before 350 is interesting. So far flatlining off 5152 here.
Here's CTMX high of the day. 81 again.
Well,
Here
they're
over 53.
let me just shut this off. They're not above 5.8 though before 350, so that this could definitely imply some volatility. Like at the least you'd want like at least 5.5, right? So like this stalling here ahead of that, but holding 5.1, like it could neutralize this. But if 350 doesn't take out 5.8, then we could definitely be at some risk into the close here, okay? Or at least on the follow through stick. We'll see what the 30-second interval does here. Probably put this to 5, 6, 7 area. Did they give us odds to at least get a 6.6, 6.8 test, guys? Based on what we analyzed? Hello? Yes, okay, so I think that there could still be some odds of a 6.6, 6.8 test, but I would say that the 354, 55, if we don't test at least the 63, 64 area by then those odds are probably off the table. Okay, and they might be limiting it to the means. So some really big importance coming up here. And like I said, I think that there has to be follow through at 5-1, at least to 5-7, 5-6 area here where this yellow line is. Otherwise, that risk stays on pretty high. Intel getting some breaks back here into the close. If I just go silent, guys, I'm just managing my positions into the close. They held 5-2 nicely, which is good. So they held the means. But we need some good stick breaks ahead of 5-4, like at least over 5-8. If we get stick breaks over 5-8 before 5-4, we have odds of 6-6, 6-8. If they don't, then we're probably stalling around 6-4, 6-3, 6-5. I don't know if this is going to get a push end of day. It's kind of a tough call here. 5-8 break ahead of 5-4. That's good. See if 5-4, 5-5 can retest this 6-2, 6-3 area. That's the only way we'd have odds of retesting 66, 68. Okay, maybe 7-1. I feel like 7-1 is kind of pushing it at this point, but... There we go, 6-2, 6-3 test here at 5-4. See if we can get some better sticks here at 5-5. They still have to give us a closing stick though. That's a test, but that's not a closing stick. So volatility could still be implied, guys. There's still no breaks over 6-3 or 6-4. So just FYI. Okay, don't get too excited there. I think they limited range to the means. Yeah, I saw that. What do you guys think? How much of my intel should I cover into the close here? %? All right, let me see. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll end up doing. This one other broker doesn't auto refresh, which is so annoying, so I have to always refresh it. Sorry. I know it's kind of annoying. Okay. I covered 80% of the ones that expire tomorrow. It wasn't the best exit. Like, it was a little bit lower than the high of day, but it's okay. Like, I had a feeling 312 was the high of day. That was my high of day mark, but it wasn't that much different. It was a 20-cent difference, I think, which wasn't that bad. I think it would have made a difference of, like, maybe $300 or something. But I do want to see what ES does here into the close, because I had odds after the bell. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. I hope you guys caught some of it, too. I do want to cover some of the remaining ES that I have here, though. Okay. I'm out of the ES contracts, too, guys. I know this could obviously push higher, but I didn't like that they stalled 6-3 ahead of this point here. So 6-4 seemed like that would be the max range for 4 o'clock. I think that was I think our analysis was pretty spot on. Had they taken out 6-2, 6-3 right here, they would have given us 6-6, 6-8. I think the stall there was pretty obvious that 64 was going to be the final break there, which is in the means. 650 to 52 to 64 is the means. And they kept it means bound, which isn't the worst case scenario, but obviously Obviously would have been a bit better had they pushed it a little bit more, market makers. I left some open contracts for Intel for tomorrow. We'll see how that ends up playing out. Apple had a really good recovery. I didn't get to go back and check. Watch Apple tomorrow, guys. That thing breaks that 257.20. This thing can get a really nice day tomorrow. It's also on a 2-day flag, and it doesn't flip till Monday. So Apple will probably be my top watch stock for tomorrow, along with obviously Intel. NQ went right back to that. Oh, NQ actually hit target though. NQ 24,643. We've got PC numbers tomorrow, so I don't think I'm going to carry any ES overnight, especially in the means. What else? No problem. It was kind of a tough trade because they stalled this point in the day here, which was really annoying. Otherwise, I feel like we could have gotten that 6.6, 6.8 break, but at least we were able to determine that they weren't going to give us 6.6, 6.8 after stalling at 354. $63.75 and 64 being max was a really good area too. I feel like I forgot to sell something, but that's too late now. I don't know what I forgot to sell, but I feel like I forgot to sell something. Yeah, I don't know. What did I forget to sell? No problem. Crypto, yeah, we can look at crypto real quick. Let me just close out my stuff. Where is the crypto chart? Oh wow, it held out 108.677. Well, ended up stalling that 113.864 area, like this area here. This is kind of a range that could basically come back and give it a 6K break in either direction. This is a pretty big area for this thing to hold though, because that's really close to that 6K mark. Kind of like closer to here. So like some bottom support at 108, 110. Crypto basically had a flip and didn't switch directions here. I don't remember how many increments or intervals we're measuring Bitcoin in. I think it's 9 days or 22 days or something like that. Oh, this is a really messy chart now on Apple because I put all this crap on here that's not really needed, but the actual measured metrics, hold on. I haven't had time to go in this week and clean this up. Just leave these on here. We're looking at Apple getting to 271 basically on these kind of breaks. And I'm pretty sure still stuck in an inside bar on the annual chart, but on the 11 month, do you see how it could engulf? Like, I know it's kind of a different outlook on this, but this could basically break range. I would say for it to do that, though, it probably has to start breaking pretty soon. Like, even on the 10 month, this flips on November 3rd. I think when we looked at Apple, we said that by the 1st would be the earliest, so September 29th. And there's a 2-day flag here. Do you see it? That flips on the 29th. So it kind of suffices the wider time frames that we have. And that's the earliest frame is October 1st. Okay, off a 10-month, 11-month, and 9-month chart. Okay, and if it doesn't break during that range, then Apple will likely stay stuck in this inside bar, which I don't think it will. I think it has pretty good odds of breaking. Does that make sense? This is also 1, 2, 3, 4. So fourth bars can usually start pushing. Kind of get a similar idea here. 8-month isn't really an outside bar, but this one could be. Okay, and then when we looked at this on, I think it was, I'm just going to refresh my memory on Apple because I actually can't remember the exact range, 57. I think it's near this area here, like give or take. Do you see that? Okay, like kind of like around here. Do you see this? And this isn't even exact. This is just like probably close to like here. Okay. This is a clearance trade. Basically clearing off this area here. That's why it stalled there last time. So odds are a little bit better. And then if we measure off a high range, it basically has to break exactly where it's sitting right now. Do you see that? Can you see this? So it's not only flagging, it's flagging off annual ranges and off exhaustion bars from the past. So that can really help it take out its annual break. Typically when you break two, like the implied range on upside is usually the similar type range that they had on downside. So let's say like for instance like this kind of range here, like maybe like 30 to 31 points. These could just be some targets on Apple for year end, like 286. And I would imagine that these were probably ranges that they stalled around right here. Do you see that? Can you see this? Pretty similar type range. Probably close to like 75 points. So if and when it does take out its high, it probably has to break like 261 or something. Me and Arun went over this like a week ago. If you go back to the past streams, it might be on there somewhere. It's somewhere close to this range in here. And this is the same areas that it's currently breaking up, like above right now on these clearance breaks. Give or take, these are not exact, but you get what I'm saying. I think this is like a little bit higher. What is that, 45? So like 50 or something. Do you see that? That's a clear trade. If you measure off like the maybe the actual lows that occurred. Do you see this? Should align pretty close with this bar here. And then off to the open close ratios. So this, if you want to use the actual levels here. It should be like a nice structure break of this area here. Do you see that? Look. And that was probably a massive stick break right here. It was. So typically, so that makes sense because that would be the area that we'd have to break. This should be like that 262 spot. Do you see it? So when you break highs on Apple, if we break highs, you probably need to hit 262 on like that first break, because that's aligned with double annual ranges. This is probably close to where they're stalling right here, right now. Do you see that? Off this close right here? 257, 257.20. I might be off by a few cents, but I'm pretty sure I measured like 257.10, 257.20, something like that. So definitely this area in here. And then you could just imagine that if it does break, that's the kind of range you could get. And then obviously like a big max range scenario could be off the actual high range that occurred right here. Do you see that? Do you see what I mean? And it should be around those 270s. I already had odds around 274 on Apple anyway, so sorry, I'm just going to put this messy stuff back on here and clean it up this weekend, but let me just mark the 270, 262 area, and let me just put that fib back on here, because I'm pretty sure it's around 272. Just some targets that you guys can look for. Okay, I'm gonna sign off, guys. I'm tired. I've been up